How's it going, traders? Today we're going to talk about two trades I took today. One winner, one loser, because I'm a loser. Just joking. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to look at the consistency triangle in further detail. So number one, strategies and patterns, right? This is very, very important. And often people mix strategies and patterns up with trade management. They're related, but they're not the same, right? Strategies and patterns is your playbook. What are you looking for every single day? Are you looking for ABCDs? Are you looking for orbs? Are you looking for double bottoms, double tops? Are you looking for bearish engulfing cracks? Are you looking for support of the moving average, etc., right? And then once you're in the trade is how do you manage it? Are you partialing out really fast? Are you moving your stop to break even after you've partial? Are you holding on for 2 to 1? Do you have some sort of mechanical rule? Take off half after 1 to 1, another quarter off at 1.5 to 1. Etc., right? So they are related, but they're totally different. And let's focus in on strategies and patterns, right? So most of you guys know I trade a very small amount of patterns. I trade 2-minute orbs, right? 2-minute ORBs. Often you'll see these are kind of just flags off the 1-minute chart. It's either a bear flag or a bull flag. Big candle, then I have a small candle, and then the continuation, right? So that's kind of related to the second pattern I trade, which are ABCDs / flags, whatever you want to call them. I'll usually start looking for these at 9:35, 9:40-ish, right? Trending continuations, look for big pulls and then the pennants, or I'll look for this type of maneuver here, this way or the other. I'll also look at the 5-minute chart, right? Because sometimes if you try to take that, you preempt it on the 2-minute charts or the 1-minute charts, sometimes you'll get this little fake out and then a keel over, right? So if you wait for the 5-minute confirmation, the new 5-minute high, usually you can avoid that. And actually these fake outs are what leads to double tops and double bottoms for that matter, right? So then the third strategy I play is the reversals. You guys know that, right? The 15-minute reversal. And let's focus on the reversal. So the reversal was something that I started looking at with William last year. And I was really interested in this strategy because it fit my personality. I didn't have to make split-second decisions. It was a kind of a longer-term trade on a larger time frame, slow mover. Sometimes I would sit in these things for an hour and catch the ride back to VWAP. They were huge moves, right? Sometimes you would retrace 1 to 2% of the stock price, and dollar moves, $2 moves, whatever that may be, partially along the way, right? But now that I've taken this setup enough times, I kind of reverse engineered or worked my way backwards. I looked at the 15-minute charts. I looked at all the reversals that panned out, that worked. And then I took a look at the smaller time frames, trying to find signals for how can I get into these trades earlier, right? Because sometimes you get in here, the moving average is up here, you put your stop here, it's like 1 to 1, 1.5 to 1, which, you can take those, right? Eventually you will probably get back to VWAP here, but that's just overhead resistance I don't want to have to deal with. So I look at the smaller time frames and I started realizing, on the 5-minute chart, I can catch the hammers. Sometimes there's really good hammers with solid volume. We get really extended. The 15-minute looks like it's bottoming out. You can get a better entry just playing purely off the 5, keeping in mind where we are in the trend. Or you can take a look at the 2-minute chart, right, and catch those shooting stars that I've been talking about, right? This will give you a really early indication well before the 15-minute lows. And by the time the 15-minute low hits, you're already in for 1 to 1, 1.5 to 1. You don't need to ride the whole move back to VWAP. So why do I bring up this example? Well, this comes down to two things, guys. Number one, know your patterns and strategies like the back of your hand. You should be able to document them in a playbook, pass them to another trader, say, hey, Bob, hey, Bill, hey, Jill, these are my setups, right? This is the criteria to get in: signal, confirmation for entry, confirmation for exit, profit targets, etc., right? These patterns, they repeat themselves every day, and they come in different permutations or whatever, right? Maybe they'll come in different sizes or whatever, but they're generally the same. ABCDs are all generally the same, right? And orbs generally the same, reversals generally the same. They either do this or they'll double top or whatever it may be, right? So you should be able to document them. That's so important, very important. A lot of prop desks, they will get you to write a playbook before they even let you start trading in simulator, because you're not out here trying to fly by the seat of your pants every day, taking random moves with the candles pulsating up and down. And that's kind of related to this trade management thing here too, right? So my 2 to 1, 2R, all or nothing. Why am I saying the math is on my side? The math is on my side because I'm playing patterns, right? Flags usually will repeat. I get in here, my stop is here, the pole is of considerable size, and it will repeat, right? So that's a 2 to 1. I should be able to get off that. Same with the ABCD. ABCDs, if you look at them, they're just triangles, right? Pennants. They wedge. And these will often repeat the base, right? The base, what is this? The hypotenuse. This is the base, right? So that makes sense to try to aim for 2 to 1. Reversals, here's the VWAP, right? We're coming up, we get extended from the VWAP. We put our stop here, we try to get in close there where we know we're going to at least test the moving average, if not get back to the VWAP. That's 2 to 1, if not more. Often these will get 4 to 1 if you hang on for the whole ride. So that makes sense in terms of the strategies I play, guys. Right? I'm not out here just hanging on 2R during chop or during some random momentum move trying to get 2 to 1 because that, I'm trying to hit a home run here, right? There's some rhyme and reason behind this. And if your strategies aren't conducive to 2 to 1, maybe it doesn't work for you. Maybe you need to go 1 to 1s. Maybe you need to take profit sooner because your strategies have different, different results or whatever that may be, right? However these things work out. But for me, this is for me, guys. Again, this is about Robert H. This is for me. And why am I telling you guys these stories all the time? Because I want you guys to start looking inwards first. Develop your strategies. It took me a long time to develop these things. It took me 6-9 months to even for the light bulb to go off that I need to start doing these exercises, right? And now I've traded these strategies to 3 or 4 strategies so many times that, guys, it's the same thing over and over, right? They all repeat themselves every day. Same thing. I have the same parameters, the same signals, the same confirmations. And when you're able to do that, you just sharpen your skills. You narrow your focus into a point here, right? You're just getting better and better, sharpening the blade, specializing, building this niche, developing all the nuances, identifying little things, building intuition, building experience, and you can do that by playing the same patterns over and over and over and over. Okay, so I encourage you, please build your playbook and share it with a trading buddy and see if it makes sense, because in the long run, you're going to have winners and losers, but you want the winners to be big enough to pay for the losers and profit as well on top, right? Here's an example of that XLNX. So XLNX, I took this stock a few weeks back here, right? When it had that big collapse, 140 came down to tested 105, 110ish or whatever, right? I went 2 for 2 that day, I remember. And today it kind of got me back, gave some back to it, but not a big deal, right? So it sold off. Lost the support here, sold off, and then it started coming back up over the VWAP, kind of just flagging its way up the VWAP here. And I saw, that looking at the daily chart, it's probably going to reject this 110 area. That's the wick here. It's also this area here that it's struggled to get below. So it's obviously some sort of a pivot. And I saw it double top on the 2-minute chart. So this first one is, okay, that's a little fakish because it's moving averages here. Then it double topped, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go short. Go short, and got the entry there, and then it caught support, right? In retrospect, would I take this trade again? Maybe. This moving average was resistance, and obviously maybe double top, but it caught support and decided to stop me out, right? So I had my stop above this area. Not a big deal. Okay, so I stopped out. That's 1R, minus 1R. I took a step back, looked at the charts again. I said, hey, what am I not seeing here? This thing is very weak. It probably should keel over anytime soon, unless it's going to break through this 110 and resurge, right? And then I looked at the 1-minute chart and I said, okay, that's a shooting star. Interesting, right? And then the 5-minute chart where I got stopped out on, the seller sent it back down. That became a shooting star. I say, okay, double topped. This was a fake out squeeze, still rejecting this level, 110-ish area. I'm going to get back in. I'm getting back in. So that's what I did. Got back in right there. Boom. And that was the move. So I had the right idea. I just had the wrong timing, right? And I got my 2 to 1, hung on for the trade right there, right? And that's basically the trade, 2 to 1. So minus 1 on the first trade, plus 2 on the next. That's a 50% accuracy, positive expectancy. Came out the day plus 1R. That's not bad. If you could do that 20 times in a month, it's 20R a month. And that's consistency, right? 0.5% to 1% of your account daily. So that's a trade, and as you can see, it was really weak. It double topped again in the 15-minute chart. That was a really good short here. Would have been a nice play, and then it just faded off into the sunset. So I tried not to use the keyboard so much because I know some of you guys hate the keyboard more than you hate me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the chat room tomorrow.